Say, kids, what time is it?
It's kind of like watching TV, but, in your car.
Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens. It is Dark Side of the Stream, episode 202. This week was my pick, a YouTube series you can watch, sports documentary called Untold. Not YouTube, Netflix.
Netflix, there we go.
Untold Sign Stealer, which is about the allegations surrounding the Michigan football sign stealing scandal and the man who was basically the fall guy for it, Connor Stallions.
What a great name, first of all.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, could have had his.
He should have been a quarterback.
Had a hell of a career in the front office somewhere, but unfortunately for him, that is over. I'm sure he'll find a job somewhere, maybe at a football.
Yeah, he sounds like he's good at doing logistics and stuff like
that's
that.
A lot. That's a big need in professional sports and obviously the NFL and or college football, which is what we're talking about here. So let me ask you first out of the gate, do you think? And I'm not just talking about Michigan here. I'm talking about other teams that have done certain things like this in the past, i.e. like the Patriots, for example, in the beginning of the year, were videotaping opponents' practices,
right?
Using that,
right.
Of course, this situation with the sign stealing. Do you think, obviously, there is a moral code here, but advantages are advantages? Right? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
here?
well, and it said everybody's doing it. They said everybody was stealing signs. It's just a thing.
Or it's just how you do it and or how it's, I mean, it's not that it's not going on in college football and or baseball. I mean, it's happened in baseball too. I mean, Astros. So again,
I mean, of course you're going to, if you, to take it to its simplest form, if the pitcher's going to throw the ball and he goes one, and that means a strike down the middle, and he pulls one and then he's going to throw it, you would say, hey, he's going to throw a strike. That's just, I mean,
so
where does the line of moral
their
compass?
idea, I guess, is if you record it using electronic devices, and or in, I guess in baseball they were doing kind of that, but they were like using noises on trash cans and stuff and to signal what was being done. So like the guys in the bullpen would watch the sign that the catcher would throw, then they would make a noise based out there to let them know, the batter know what was coming. I mean, it's so I guess, I mean, it's a hard moral question to answer.
Yeah, it's a gray area.
You when you're in a competitive sport, you want to do everything you can to win.
Right.
And you watch the last time you played the team, you watch the film, you watch how they dealt with you, watch how they play with other teams.
Say if it's a fight, you're fighting somebody, you watch film on the guy. Hey, every time he throws this right, he ducks this hand a little bit.
He makes this, he does this kind of tick. So we know that he's going to do this.
That's just, and like if you're in a battle with another country and if you get a tip, hey, they're coming in from this area. I mean,
you're going to use that.
Yeah, you're going to use it, man. So it's a gray area for sure, man. You know,
it seems to me like it's so prevalent. Like you said, everyone does it.
Yeah, he said every team was doing it, and they had a network of guys talk. That was what I thought was crazy. A whole network of guys.
Again, it's so well. We'll talk more about this because I think it's relative to the Chiefs and what's happening, guys, and obviously the internet's take on that.
The Chiefs are stealing signs?
No, but probably the refs are on our side.
Yeah.
Narrative. I want to talk about that too because I think that's relevant in what this was about. We'll talk more about that next. Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The K. Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens back in the studio. Dark Side of the Stream, episode 202. We're talking Untold sign stealing, and of course
I'm going to do 202 in signs.
202
don't steal my signs.
Don't steal the signs. The University of Michigan's alleged sign stealing operation. So what I wanted to discuss though, because we talked a lot in the beginning about how it's a gray area. Obviously, you want your team to do everything they can to win. Teams prepare by watching video of the last time they fought that team, played that team, fought that guy, whatever, then you learn from it.
Yeah, you watch film.
There is obviously a line to where you can't go into secret closed doors practices and hide in there and set up, hidden cameras. That's not cool. This, I guess, is what they're saying is some of these guys would dress up in costume and go to opposing teams' games.
Yeah, they seem to be, this was a pretty extreme operation.
But it also when you watch people do this, you kind of go, well, obviously someone came up with this, and this isn't the first time. This guy obviously learned this from someone. right? It didn't like he just came in and was like,
well, it sounds like there's a lot of guys that do it.
Yeah, and again, he was involved with guys from other schools, and we'll get into that in a minute. But before we do that, though, I wanted to talk about, the gray area and what, what's right and what's wrong. Obviously, the Chiefs have become that team that everyone hates, and every single time,
like the Patriots used to be.
Call, it's like, well, the refs love the team. Well, it's easier for the NFL to sell that narrative, which is maybe the refs are, or not sell it, but not dissuade it at all, as opposed to a overall officiating issue, which is what I've said for years. I say you can't let games come down to plays. And it's not just the Chiefs that get good plays or bad plays. I mean, hell, I think Patrick Mahomes has had more touchdowns called back than any other quarterback in the league. It's easier for the general public to say, the Chiefs are just going to get the love
when they're winning.
When they're winning,
right.
The NFL wants them to win, as opposed to everyone saying, actually, it's not just the Chiefs. Realistically, there is an officiating problem league wide. The NFL does not want that. Yeah. There's way too much money involved in the validity of these games.
They got to put it in AI hands. Put it in the hands of AI.
That might be coming, sir.
But again, that's coming.
There's too much money involved in this for them to say, well, actually, it might be our officiating crew. And in the same regard, the NCAA would have a huge problem on their hand if they actually stood up and said, you know what? This Stallions kid, he wasn't cool, and he did all this stuff for Michigan, and we're going to get them for this, and they're going to get the violations and all the stuff handed down to them, as opposed to, you know what? It's not just him. It's actually a way bigger problem. It's it's like Epstein all over again. It's Diddy. Well, there are so many people involved with those guys that we're probably never going to hear about it.
They're stealing everybody's team.
It's like, there's the fall guy. We're going to get him, and he's the bad guy, and good guys win. It's like, no, the bad guys are still out there.
Well, and they know that it's happening too, because they would do fake signs. A couple fake signs, a couple real signs, and then you'd have to decipher which is the fake, is the real.
That's one of my favorite.
They knew everybody knew what was going on.
That's one of my favorite things to talk about in regards to college football with the fake signs, because there are guys that are literally hired to stand there, and they'll hold up the letter F.
Yeah.
And then it looks like a sign, like a fence post.
Yep.
Right. And then the next time it's like a division.
So if you're trying to steal signs, you're like, okay, you got to look at 4 different guys. You got,
What does that mean?
Yeah. But some of it will be the code, so it's. But all this is now solved because of this, I guess, because this year they started doing in-ear monitors in the helmet. Finally for college, right?
It also is a testament to how smart these players and quarterbacks and coaches actually have to be to not only memorize what they're doing, but try to memorize what the opponent's doing, and then also memorize all the looks that they give you so that you know what that could possibly mean.
Yeah.
And that changes every single
It's a lot,
week.
Man. It's a lot.
20 weeks out of the year. Man, it's a lot. We're going to talk about this specific case next. It's the Michigan sign stealing Untold, Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7. 104.7 The Cave. Mike, the intern, Jay Stevens back in the studio. It is Dark Side of the Stream, episode 202, discussing Untold, the sign stealing in University of Michigan. Of course, after these allegations went down, there was a big investigation with the NCAA. Come to find out, this guy was, wearing costumes. He had friends that he worked with at Central Michigan that were helping him. At the end of the day, Michigan got handed down some punishment. This guy is the fall guy. He gets fired. But like I said, what's interesting is that you've got 2 schools of thought. One is the hardcore dudes are like, you stole, you're cheaters, you blah 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 blah. And you got this other side that's kind of like, you know what? When you look at that season, they won a championship, right? They won them handedly. Right. It wasn't like a question of winning by a score or winning by a point. They
played great.
They played great. But again, so some people are saying, well, it wouldn't have mattered anyway. But then again, it's like, even if it didn't matter, it still tarnishes your entire championship.
And if you have an advantage like that,
Harbaugh's got that
that's going to add up.
Harbaugh's got that scarlet letter on him, and especially he's now the coach of the Los Angeles Chargers, and we just played him, and I'm looking at him the whole time, and I will always look at him as a cheater forever. No matter how good
what about,
of a quarterback, Bill Belichick.
That's what I was going to say.
He's always a cheater.
So always. do you lump Tom Brady? Do you lump Tom Brady into that?
Tom Brady wasn't the one that was going in
but
behind.
He benefited though from it, right? He did benefit.
Not in that secret. No, Bledsoe was I believe the quarterback when that happened. I want to say.
I think it was Brady.
You think it was Brady's first year?
And remember when Sam Cassell came in and he played so great when Brady was out too, and then he didn't play great like that anywhere else.
Get back in here.
Spygate, right? Spygate is what they call it.
Yeah, Spygate. Maybe it was.
Yeah, it was Brady years, man.
Maybe it was. Maybe this whole thing is actually.
And that's why I'm saying, would Brady's legacy be a little tarnished by this as well?
I don't want you. I know where you're doing it. You're trying to poke me because you know how I feel about that.
I don't think you like Brady.
No, it's not. Brady. It's not that. It's just the whole. I get pissed off because it's like I got an argument with a Chiefs fan about this. He was super into Brady, and I was like, "What do you even care about that dude?" A, B. He's not a great quarterback. You look at his stats, and they are mid. The only thing that he's got is winning in playoffs and the rings. That's not him.
Doesn't he have the most? Doesn't he have the most? That's something though, right? He passed Peyton Manning for the most wins. Is that what it was?
Postseason wins
or touchdowns?
But again, that's just because he was in the postseason so much. His division throughout their entire career was garbage. The AFC East or North, or it was the East, I think, was complete dog. It was horrible. A, B. It wasn't just him. It was the partnership between him, Belichick, and then, of course, the team that they built, where they were more interested in winning than having money and stars. Basically what the Chiefs are trying to do now. But
okay, I pulled it up. He has most passing yards, most passing touchdowns, most regular season wins, and most Pro Bowls, most completions. Holy cow. Jeez. But he also has most attempts, most fourth quarter comebacks. That's a lot of mosts, man.
But look how long it took him to do it. And
he did have a long career.
Those records aren't going to stand.
He did have a long career. I don't know, man. Who's going to beat those? I'm not talking
about wins. Those are a lot of those things that you just mentioned are team statistics.
True, yeah.
Wins, completions, all those things involved other people. His stats are mid.
But do you think
they're mid?
Do you think that some of that was aided by Spygate?
Not him, no. But I would say again, it's always going to be tarnished to me.
Yeah.
Is it a legitimate win? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you as much as you want to celebrate your team's victory, if it's got stuff behind it, I'm always going to view Belichick as a cheater.
Now what about this?
No matter what.
Now what about this? Did they were the ones that got caught? And everybody does this. Everybody does it.
That's how I started. It's easier for the NCAA to say these are the bad guys. And we got them. When in reality,
I have a feeling. I have a feeling every team is doing everything they can to get an advantage. That's all. But there's a lot of money on the line. There's a lot of stuff on stake. People cheat at Monopoly, So I'm saying you're going to cheat on the biggest scale,
Monopoly game at McDonald's.
Yeah, so you're going to definitely cheat at the biggest money scale possible. Just people are going to do that.
Yep.
Try and gain an edge. So.
Always. We'll be back next with our reviews of this sign-stealing documentary next, Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cat. Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens, discussing life's greatest mysteries, Dark Side of the Stream, episode 202, Untold, sign stealing.
Who knew we would have an intelligent conversation about
well, it's because, both of it, there's a lot of stuff in this. And again, at the end of the day, that championship that they won, God love them, it's always going to have that asterisk.
Tell me this on a deeper
Astros, your pennant always going to have an asterisk.
On a deeper level,
early 2000s Patriots, you're always going to have an asterisk. That's just the way I see it.
Hang on. On a deeper level, do you think it's just human nature to try to gain an advantage?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Hell yes.
So all of this comes down, whether it's guys doing steroids, whether it's cheating, sign stealing.
What we're talking about here.
Human nature.
What's the line? Who decides? And of course, are we actually what's the validity for here? Right. And like I said, it's easier for them to just say, refs make mistakes. But in reality, it's an officiating issue. Of course, and it's a consistency issue.
Well, they have that in the UFC too. They complain about the judges all the time.
Consistent, and and that's ultimately the problem with competitive sports is that you have to have a judge, and we're always going to be judged by humans,
right? until the robots take over.
There's always going to be
a
subjective thing in there because it's how we perceive everything that we experience in life is subjective. So it's tough. I'm not saying I'm perfect. No, I could do it. Hell no. There's no way.
Not a gig for me. No.
It'd be tough as hell. But at the end of the day,
I couldn't steal a sign. I can't remember what I did 10 minutes ago. I'm not going to be able to steal a sign.
Validity behind this thing. It's got to be done right, in my opinion. Either way, watch it. Jay, what are we watching next week?
Boy, oh boy, what are we going to watch? Well, I guess we might as well do it before somebody else does it. Chimp Crazy, made by the Tiger King people. It's on HBO Max. You might have to use your mom's account for this one, Mike.
Okay.
It is about people that have chimpanzees as pets and treat them like humans.
Weird.
And it's right here in our stomping grounds, Lake of the Ozarks, baby. It's filmed at Lake of the Ozarks.
Of course,
it's Lake of the Ozarks. It's my weekend stomping grounds.
Have you had a chimp show up at one?
I almost went to this chick's place last week, and my guitar player wanted to go to the petting zoo that she still owns. So it's an easy watch, and like I said, it's made by the Tiger King people.
Brad, you don't want any part of that,
man. Not Brad, Drew. It's Drew. Yeah.
Drew, you don't want any part of that, man. Drew,
you wanted to go touch pets and giraffes and monkeys.
Face off, Drew.
They talk about that too. It's pretty wild, man.
Because they're wild animals and they're not domesticated. Either way, you can watch us do this live on Facebook every Thursday, 9 a.m. Listen to it as a podcast whenever you want on our app for free, or listen to it during my show at 9 a.m. or Jay's show at 6 p.m.
Or steal Thursday. Our signs.
I don't know if we got any. Either way, I'm Mike the Intern. That's Jay Stevens reminding you. We watch movies.
Documentaries,
so you don't have to. It's Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave.